Hello, Reds fan. Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub, your ultimate source for all the latest Liverpool transfer news. Liverpool players pulls out of squad hours before first Premier League game. Doak won't be donning the Liverpool jersey tonight, as he's on the brink of a transfer to their opponents Bournemouth. The two teams are set to clash in the inaugural Premier League match of the season at Anfield. Bournemouth are nearing a $25 million, $91 million agreement for the Scottish international, having outmaneuvered Porto and Stuttgart. Doak, 19, is eager to stay in the Premier League after spending the previous season on loan at Championship side Middlesbrough. Liverpool shelled out $600,000, $14,000 to secure the promising youngster from Celtic in 2022. With high expectations for his future under Jurgen Klopp. However, injuries and stiff competition have hindered his progress, leading him to seek regular first-team action on the South Coast. This deal could set off a domino effect of transfers, with Bournemouth's Dango Ouattara potentially heading to Brentford for a sum of up to $42.5 million, $57.65 million. This could then pave the way for the Bees to part with Yoane Wissa, who has been absent from training as he eyes a move to Newcastle. Regrettably for Liverpool, Wissa is not viewed by the Magpies as a replacement for Alexander Isak. The Reds had a bid rejected for the Swedish forward, who continues to train separately from Newcastle's first team. In his press conference ahead of Newcastle's Premier League opener against Aston Villa, Eddie Howe indicated that there has been no movement regarding the 25-year-old's future, Alex's situation has been unchanged for a while, and that will continue to be the case, he remarked. Yet, this didn't stop a flurry of questions coming his way. I've had a great relationship with Alex, he shared. You need that with every player. I take my part in that relationship really importantly. I have to work really closely with the player to his benefit. When quizzed about a new offer for Isak, Howe clarified, No. There has been no change. My focus has been on training and Villa and the transfer front. In response to whether the star forward might stay at St. James's Park after the transfer deadline, he commented, At the moment, I would say yes, but I've had no change of feeling throughout the summer. He's contracted to us, but it's out of my hands. Alexander Isak's agent was banned by club and had conflict with Premier League legend. Vlado Lemic, the agent of Alexander Isak, was once banned from big European side and has clashed with a Premier League legend. Despite the fact that there is still over 2 weeks left in the transfer window, it's already been made clear that the saga surrounding Newcastle United striker Isak will be the story of the summer. The Sweden international has been heavily linked with a move to Liverpool, with both the player and the club said to be eager to get a deal across the line the coming weeks. After he was promised a big move this summer by his agent Lemic, Isak is clearly frustrated by how long it is taking to secure a move, leading to him skipping training and going on strike. But it appears that this isn't the first time that Isak's agent has found himself surrounded by drama, as he was once banned from a top European club and has also clashed with a former Premier League star. According to a report from journalist Ryan Ferguson, Lemic was once a highly influential figure at Dutch side PSV Eindhoven following his involvement in bringing several key players to the club. Lemic had strong ties to key figures at the club, including former managers Guus Hiddink and Ronald Koeman, and had brought the likes of Matej Kejman, Jefferson Farfan, and Jurelho Gomez to the Philips Stadion. The player agent became a regular visitor of the PSV training ground and eventually found himself growing close with technical manager Stan Valks. Although Lemic was initially a popular figure at the club, Ferguson claims that things later changed as some directors became unsettled by him, viewing him as a shady figure that had far too much power within PSV. These feelings allegedly came to a head in 2007 as Jan Rekker took over control as chief executive officer of PSV and was immediately urged by club executives to limit Lemic's influence. Eventually, this led to PSV, led by Rekker, controversially claiming that together Lemick and Valks had been skimming money from profits of club transfers. Although no wrongdoing was ever proved definitively, Valks was sacked while Lemick was banned from the club, with all of his players sold shortly after. Alexander Isak's agent clashes with Premier League legend, but the drama involving Lemick doesn't stop there, as former Willem II coach Gary Vink once claimed that, if not for the agent, Isak could have once played for Dutch giants Ajax. Vink claimed that during his time managing Isak at Willem II, the Swedish striker came close to joining Ajax, but the deal fell apart after Lemick clashed with Arsenal legend Mark Overmars, who was serving as Ajax's sporting director. Apparently there is a whole story behind it. Mark Overmars, Ajax's then sporting director, and the agent, Vlado Lemick, did not get along, Vink told ESPN. Ajax could have brought him in for 11 million euros, a pittance for Ajax at the time. But because of that conflict between Overmars and Lemick, it didn't happen. Respected journalist reveals what Alexander Isak's agent has said about Liverpool in Major Update. A top journalist has revealed fresh details about Alexander Isak's potential move to Liverpool as the striker refuses to train with Newcastle United. Despite Liverpool securing the signings of several of the biggest names in Europe this summer, their pursuit of Newcastle United star Isak is undoubtedly the biggest story of their transfer window. Reports have claimed that Liverpool boss Arne Slot views the Sweden international as his dream signing, with Isak also said keen to join the Reds as soon as possible. In fact, Isak is believed to be so eager to move to Anfield that he has refused to return to Newcastle United training and has moved out his luxury home in Ponteland, but now respected. Journalist Luke Edwards has given his thoughts on the ongoing situation, hitting out at Isak's agent for what he told the striker earlier in the summer. In a damning post on social media, Edwards claimed that Isak's behavior can potentially be explained by the fact that his agent had told him that a move to Liverpool would definitely happen, despite the fact that this may not have been the case. Because of this promise, Isak has done everything in his power to force the move and completely shattered his reputation at Newcastle, something which he will no doubt regret if a move to Anfield cannot be finalized. Posting on X, Edwards wrote, "Alexander Isak's agent has failed him so badly. I don't condone Isak's behavior in the slightest, but he was told the move to Liverpool would happen even though they are unwilling to match valuation, and all had to do was behave badly to force it through. He's now got a player who has alienated a fan base, tarnished his reputation within football forever, who is probably not going to get the move he was told was his to make. He signed a 6-year contract with no release clause. His agent negotiated that. Trying to force your way out with 3 years left on that deal was always going to be a very risky road to go down, but he did it anyway. With just over 2 weeks left until the transfer window closes on September 1st, Edwards claimed that a deal with Liverpool is looking less likely. However, he claimed that, despite his actions over the summer, the door isn't closed for Isak to return to the Newcastle lineup, something he would no doubt want to do if he ends up staying at the club. Edwards added, "Isak might still end up at Liverpool, but the chances are fading rapidly and have been for weeks now. How he repairs the damage remains to be seen, but he will play next season regardless. The sooner he realizes the terrible mistake he has made and apologies, the better. Play well, score goals. He will get a huge move next summer if that's what he wants." What has Arne Slot said about Alexander Isak? Although Slot is yet to comment on Liverpool's pursuit of Isak specifically, when speaking ahead of their Premier League opener against Bournemouth, the Dutch manager did confirm his hopes that the club would sign a new attacker before the window closes. Speaking about new signing Hugo Ekitike, he told Sky Sports, "I see Hugo mainly as a no-9 that could also play from the left or together with another no-9. We need to have one more attacker, at least." Alexander Isak's agent has already spoken about transfer as Anfield rumor sends Liverpool fans into meltdown. Alexander Isak's agent spoke out about his potential departure from Newcastle United ahead of his rumored trip to Anfield. On Monday, Liverpool competed in their final preseason friendly matches as they faced Spanish side Athletic Club in back-to-back games at home. Several of the club's biggest players and new signings were in action across the two games, with the hosts coming away with a win on both occasions. While a lot of the focus was on the players' performances ahead of the FA Community Shield final against FA Cup winners Crystal Palace this weekend, some fans were seriously excited as reports top target Isak's agent was in attendance. In the wake of the news, comments from the Newcastle United star's agent speaking about his client's big summer transfer have resurfaced online, although the reports surrounding Isak's representative Gonzalo Gaitan attending the friendly matches against Athletic Club remain unconfirmed. It comes amid several other reports that the striker's move to Liverpool is getting closer. Liverpool star withdrawn from Red squad just hours before Premier League opener. Doak won't feature for Liverpool tonight as he nears a move to their opponents Bournemouth. The sides face off in the opening Premier League match of the season at Anfield. The Cherries are closing in on a $25 million deal for the Scotland international after seeing off competition from Porto and Stuttgart. Doak, 19, is keen to remain in the Premier League, having spent last season on loan at Championship club Middlesbrough. Liverpool paid $600,000 to sign the talented prospect from Celtic in 2022, with big hopes for him under Jurgen Klopp. But injuries and the quality of players in front of him have stifled his development, and he will now seek regular first-team football on the South Coast. The deal could trigger a chain reaction of deals with Bournemouth's Dango Ouattara poised to join Brentford for up to $42.5 million. That could then see the Bees part ways with Yoane Wissa, who has not been training with the club as he looks to join Newcastle. Unfortunately for Liverpool, Wissa is not seen as a replacement for Alexander Isak by the Magpies. The Reds saw a bid knocked back for the Sweden forward, who continues to train separately from Newcastle's first team. Speaking in his press conference ahead of Newcastle's Premier League opener against Aston Villa, Eddie Howe suggested there had been no progress in any direction over the 25-year-old's future. Alex's situation has been unchanged for a while, and that will continue to be the case, he said. That did not prevent a barrage of questions, however. I've had a great relationship with Alex, he said. You need that with every player. I take my part in that relationship really importantly. I have to work really closely with the player to his benefit. Asked if a fresh bid had been placed for Isak, Howe responded, No, there has been no change. All my focus has been on training and Villa and the transfer front. Asked if the star forward could remain at St. James's Park beyond the transfer deadline, he said, At the moment I would say yes, but I've had no change of feeling throughout the summer. He's contracted to us, but it's out of my hands. Liverpool are all in on Isak as journalist explains what Newcastle encouragement looks like. Liverpool remain all in on a potential deal for Alexander Isak this summer, with the situation quite tense between Newcastle and the striker, according to transfer journalist Ben Jacobs. The Reds seem to have little chance of landing Isak at the end of the season, with Newcastle qualifying for the Champions League and providing a tough stance on any potential exit. However, following an approach from Liverpool, Isak decided to tell the Magpies that he wants to leave St. James's Park for Anfield this summer. The Reds subsequently made a $100 million bid for the Sweden international, which was immediately rejected, and now Isak is on strike until he can force a move away. Isak has been heavily criticized for his approach to seeking a transfer away, but it might give Liverpool a better chance of landing the striker this summer. And former CBS Sports journalist Jacobs has revealed that Liverpool are still all in on Isak and are waiting to be given encouragement from Newcastle. Thanks for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.